Here we are solving a quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. Here's a quadratic formula up in the top left-hand corner. This is a quadratic equation here, ax squared plus bx plus c, using a, b, and x as real values in our equation here. So the first thing we got to do is we've got to label a, b, and c with our function right here before we start plugging them into our equation. So I got to label them. I've got a is 1 because it is in Ninja 1 in front of the r squared. B is negative 35 and C is 70. From there, I need to then plug them in for my discriminant value and find the discriminant. My discriminant will be my B value squared, so negative 35 squared, I got to go back and do that, minus 4 parentheses A, which is 1, parentheses C, which is 70. Okay, and I need to add my 2 in there for my squared value. So let me copy and paste that and drag it over. There's my squared value. Okay, so I need to plug that into my calculator. In order to do that, I'm going to go 35, a negative 35, and I'm going to square it. Okay, so on here I got to do times 35 negative. That gets me 1225 for the first part. So I do 1225 minus, and now I need 4 times 1 times 70. That gets me 280. Okay, so I subtract those two. I do 1225 minus 280. Now your calculator probably puts them all in there, and that gets me 945 as my answer. So I get 945 as the answer to my discriminant. Okay, the next thing I've got to do, my step 3, is to square root the discriminant. So I got to square root 945. 945. Okay. Square root of 945. Let me do it on my calculator here. Square root of 945 gets me 30.7 approximately. And the thing about this, that gets me 30.7 and negative 30.7 because we're looking for 2 solutions because our discriminant was positive. Now I might write my 2 different expressions. One adding the discriminant, 30.7, and one subtracting the discriminant because there's a positive and a negative value. So I'm going to do my next one. When I do this, we do the opposite of B plus the discriminant. We are going to divide that by 2 times A. Okay, so that's the first thing that we got to do. The second thing we do is almost exactly like that with one minor adjustment. We do the opposite of B minus the discriminant, and we do that over 2 times A as well. Okay, so we got to plug our numbers in here. So the opposite of B, my B value is negative 35, so I put positive 35 plus 30.7, and that's going to be divided by 2 times A. A was 1, so 2 times 1. So that's going to be one of my equations. The other equation I'm going to do is going to be 35 minus 30.7, and I'm going to divide that by 2 times 1. Now hopefully we know that 2 times 1 is 2, and that'll help us out a little bit between these. So when I type these in my calculator, 35 plus 30.7, divide that by 2, which is 2 times 1, that gets me 32.8. The other one I would do 35 minus 30.7, and I would divide that by 2, and that gets me 2.15. So that equals 2.1. So in this situation, I would have 2 solutions. My solutions are 32.8 and 2.1. Follow these steps to help you solve quadratics using the quadratic formula.